Okay, so we're at Zurich Airport, and we're going to be flying from Zurich Airport, LSZH, to Amsterdam, which is EHAM. The plane's all started, and we're going to bring up our computer so that we can enter the information here in it. Now we're going to put in LSZH. And we're going to EHAM. Our flight number can be 20. Our cost index can be 80. And our cruise can be 300. Let's go to flight plan. We'll click LSZH. We'll click departure. We'll go down and we'll take off from runway 34. We'll go to VEBIT, insert, quickly go down to the last one. We've got VEBIT. We'll put in an airway. We'll put T51 in. And we'll go to LASUN. And then we're going to use UT10. And we're going to go to TORPA. We'll insert and save that. We'll go down. We've got TORPA. We'll go and add in ROUSY. ROUSY. Next waypoint. We'll hit the top one. And we'll save. Okay, that is in. We've got a discontinuity here. So we're just going to quickly get rid of the discontinuity. Insert. Discontinuity gone. Now we'll go to ROUSY. And we're going to add another airway. We're going to do UQ624. And we're going to go to UI28. It's filled in the bub for us. And we're going to go to HELEN. We'll quickly save that. Okay, so what's it looking like now? What we haven't put in is our arrival at Amsterdam. So we'll drop in our arrival. We'll arrive at runway 4. So we'll just find 4. Here's runway 4. And we'll go to HELEN. 1A. Looking good. So we'll just quickly scroll down. We've got one discontinuity here, so we'll quickly remove that. Nice and simple. We've got a manual. Insert. And then we hit another clear on the discontinuity. Insert. And that's the discontinuity gone. How easy is that? And that's our flight plan done. All the discontinuities are now deleted, gone, the manual's gone. That's how you do it. Okay, so we'll close this. We'll take the parking brake off. We've got flaps 1, you can put it to flaps 2, but I'll just do flaps 1. We have a quick look down here, and we can see that we've got a turn going round and through. So all that is looking great at the moment. Okay, we're ready to go. So we'll zoom out. And we'll just put down a little bit more power. Just check what's going on there. We'll give it full power. It's liking the full power. Keep it steady. Bring up this so we can keep an eye on our airspeed. We want to get it to about 140, 160. I'm preferring to take off at about 160 now. But yeah, 140 and it can take off. Okay, we pull back. I'm getting like pretty good results with 160. Hit G for the gears. Just check that lever is up. It's up. We'll just check that we've got altitude about 2000. We'll just bump this up to, I don't know, 30. 32 looks good. Hit autopilot. Autopilot's on. We might be able to set our thing back just until it clicks. That's beautiful. Then we can hit auto throttle. And everything's looking good. Awesome. Quickly check our external view. There's our external view. Planes flying around. Some very dark clouds up there. There's the airport. You can barely see it. Probably a bit more lit up at night. This is doing real world weather at the moment, so apparently the weather is a bit like this. Let's jump back in our inside. It's got a warning, but that's okay. I wonder if we can set it back just a little bit. It's got auto throttle on, so if it's not happy, it can modify that as needed. It's turning, following the autopilot path here. Going up pretty quick. What does it got? 1500, okay. We don't have Enviro or SkyMax Pro 4 or anything like that, but this is just the default clouds. If anyone has any comments on Enviro or SkyMax 4 Pro, do let me know in the comments, because I'm very interested in that. What I do have is some Ortho 4X scenery down there. It's just at 18 resolution. It's quite hazy, so we can't see very well, but there is some Ortho 4X scenery down there, so it's got the latest Europe overlay, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's not like houses everywhere. It looks like defined areas following the roads, and it's doing pretty good. The forests look like they're pretty well where they should be. Okay, so we're coming up a little bit above the clouds now. Still following this flight path pretty well. Little concerned about the speed. Really wants to keep pushing that speed up. We'll see if we can encourage it to go just a little bit more back to where it should be, at least to where it's clicking. It's coming back, but we're still going up, so that's good. Tick our standby. We can close that. Just going really good. One thing I'm a bit concerned about is my fuel. What's going on with the fuel? We've got 8,000. We should need about 7,000, so we should be okay though. That should be the important number, the 8980. I wonder if we can find that out somewhere. Let's have a little look. Fuel 6253. Minimum takeoff fuel 6253. So there's not a lot of reserve there, but there's some kind of reserve. No worries. We are good. We are very good. What else down here can we change? We can get rid of these flaps. That's one thing we can do. This is up. I don't know if this should be like that or that. That's probably the setting, I guess, with it pulled up. So you can push it down, then you can like push it up. I don't know if that just locks it there or, and then it's ready to go down, but I figure you should pull it up like that. If anyone knows about that, please let me know in the comments as well. I'm sure you'll let me know about a lot of things in the comments, but we're just doing this for fun. This is not a real guide on how to fly an A320, but if you want to fly it this way, you can do it in a flight sim as a game and have some fun. Because that's what we're doing this for, just to have some fun. The experience of having fun with a flight simulator. That's what we're doing this for. So we got no nautical miles. It's hit that point. We're going to VEBIT very, very soon. And we're doing about 10,000. I don't like my speed at the moment. It's good. It's not giving me any problems, but I'll just leave it there, I think. It's going up. It's holding steady. It's doing what it has to. So we'll let it be. What else can we change? Let's have a look at our switches on the top. Now, this should be generally just black. If it's black, it's kind of good because it means there's no faults, there's no problems. So I understand this Airbus, that's what's supposed to be going on. But down here is all our lights. So we can put the strobe on, beacon, wing. All this stuff should have been done already, but you know. Nose light, runway turn off light. Probably a good idea to put the seatbelt on. No smoking sign. Definitely want that on. What else have we got? Internal lights, a dome. I think this is for ice, but I don't know what this is. If anyone knows what ice indicator. And standby compass. Well, I know we've got a compass here, so I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a compass here. So you just click that, that goes up and down. You can open the window with that switch, but not at this speed. And when you're on the ground, you can click that. To close the window, there's a little switch down here. Click that, and then click on the door, and it closes back up. So that's not too complicated. And you've also got a little tray down here, which you can put stuff on. And it's got a little guide on what you should do on there. So I'll look at that one day. Anyway, for now, we can close this thing. You click about there, and it goes. I think you click this little red button, and you can sort of get rid of the autopilot and start flying it manually. So there's that. What else do we have? This gives you what's going on, and then I think you've also got this. So if there's an emergency and your LCD display doesn't work, I suppose you've got another one here we can use. Now there is a flight computer thing here, I think. I think you can just click CHR and then it starts ticking over. So if you want to record your flight time, you can just click that. Fuel, 800, not doing too bad, not doing too bad at all. Center's a bit empty, so the way it works by default is it puts most of the fuel in the wings and keeps the center empty. So unless you want to really fill up to full, it's only then that you start having a lot of fuel in the center. I don't know if that's how it should be, so most of the fuel is in the wings, but I know like with a little Cessna, the fuel is in the wings. And you're supposed to keep the setting in the middle to keep it even. So I guess this is giving you a bit of an idea how much fuel is in each wing. It's pretty central. I don't know if it automatically distributes the fuel from one wing to the other, or if you had one engine go out, whether you'd need to move the fuel from here to here. The Boeings seem to have some sort of way of doing that. I don't know how you do it, but they seem to have options to do it up above. But with this plane, I don't see any option. Maybe you do stuff here, engine bleed, pumps, move pump. I mean, engine pump 1, engine pump 2, electrical pump, PTU. If you have fires, so in the normal startups, they would have run all these drills just to make sure that, you know, test, and made sure it was all lighting up before we even took off. They would have done things like that. But for this run, we're not too worried about that. Ventilation, blower extract, maybe that has an impact on the temperature in the plane. Rain repellent, this doesn't seem to work. It says it's inoperable, so I guess it doesn't work. I could just leave that down all the time. It's actually quite useful. Just nice to have. Free. So, we'll go down. Yeah, it's doing about that. So it's looking good. You can probably look at this and then look up and compare it. That's pretty cool. So we'll leave it closed for the moment. I don't know what these buttons do. Don't think they do anything. Could just look out here at the lovely view. You can save views by making sure your numlock pad's on and then just pushing like control and a number on the numlock pad. So in this case, it'll just be control 0. And you'll notice if we go back and then you just tap the 0 in your numlock pad and you've got that view. You could, like, you know, set up a wing view or something. We'll quickly see how our passengers are doing. And get back there. You can't open that door. You can just burst through anyway. I'll have a look out this window. Here we go. And you can just save your view, like control 2. And then you can push 0 and you've got that view, and then push 2 on the keyboard and you've got that view. How easy is that? So we'll just go back into our cockpit here. We can save another view. Then we can go out to the window. We can go onto the front and we can go to there. What else do we have interesting? We can go for all our buttons. I don't really want to in case something goes wrong. We're on the path to LASUN at the moment. And then we'll slowly make the turn. I think I'll use this one. If you go and look at it, you can see we keep going this way for a while and then we turn right, which is heading north up to Amsterdam. EHAM. At the moment, we're heading a little bit west and even more west now as it's turning. What's that speed doing? Speed's doing very slow, but that's good. There's no overspeed warnings and we're going up, so that's okay. When we get up to 32,000 feet, we might have a little closer look at our speed indicator. But for the moment, that's holding nicely. We've got 182 there. You know what? We might be able to just give it 220 or something like that. How about 200? So we're above 20,000 feet now. How nice is that? It's actually following that number. So about 1,500 speed increase. This is about 1,600. That's matching that as well. And then it should stop at 32,000 and stop going up if this autopilot's working. It's on auto throttle, but it's also following my speed there, so that's good. You'll notice you can push up and then you can push down. So I think that's equivalent in real life of pushing in on the button or pulling back on the button. So it's kind of simulating that, but obviously we can't push and pull it. So you're doing up arrow or down arrow. In this case, I think this also lets you take manual control. It might be similar to that button. I'm not sure. We don't need this at all for any reason at the moment. You could click it for map, but yeah, we don't need it. So how are we doing? We're going along here at 22,000, 22,900. We're doing about a steady 200. We might even let that go a little bit quicker. 210, 220. Beautiful. We got the head shake cam happening a little bit here, so we can feel some rumbles. I have to say that makes this so much more realistic, but at the same time I've also seen it where you have a storm and you're flying through a storm, and if you're trying to click a button, you can't do it because the whole plane is shaking. You just can't click on anything, and given this whole plane is about clicking on stuff, it's it gets it really, really difficult. And I'm sure it's difficult in real life too, but just from that aspect, it's maybe harder than it is in real life because you can't actually click anything. Yeah, so there's that. I don't know if you can set 2 autopilots. Like, how do you set up the second one while because you've only got 1 of these. Like, if you had 2 of these or something, then maybe you could do it. I believe this thing you're supposed to set to standard. If anyone knows exactly what this does, please let me know in the comments, because I'm not sure. But all I know is you make it standard and then that's it. But everything's going how I want at the moment, so I'm just going to leave that where it is. There's things down here like your radios. I think one of these buttons is like your intercom to talk to the passengers. And then some of the other planes, like, you know, you can do the whole service going on, so you can update the passengers on each stage of the flight. But yeah, we don't do that when we're doing that here. These 2 buttons, I still not sure what they do. The 1 and the 2, like, they don't make a lot of sense to me. This is if your gears don't come down, your wheels, you can sort of hit this and you can manually do it. That's all I know about that one. What is nice is to see these armrests, you can click on them. How good's that? And they just go away. And to be honest, for the purpose of this, you might as well just leave them up, because they're just unnecessarily there, and you can sort of see all that better now, you know, like, so yeah, just click on it, pull it up, and you're done. I mean, this thing's back here like a fire extinguisher, but none of that's useful. All of this is nothing to click here, like, just, I don't know, I haven't found anything I can do. It's just cool scenery pretty much. Can't do anything with that one. Obviously there's some stuff up here you can touch. I don't know if you need refuel when you are actually refueling, but the way this plane works is you just go in here, hit how much fuel you want, and it instantly updates. There's no wait, it just does it. So some of the other planes, you click this and then you got to actually wait for the refuel, and I don't know. I know that adds realism to it, but I don't know if that's really adding to the fun. So the way this plane is set up, you just click how much you want and it's instantly there. As long as you've got your fuel truck out, you're sorted. That's all you need to do. So yeah, I think that's good. There is also a thing like your align time. You can change your align time to 10 times normal, instead of, so you're not sitting here for 7 minutes waiting for it to align. Probably more important if you haven't done a battery startup. So you just, you know, you've done a battery startup, you haven't used the ground power, and if you've gone and done the battery startup, it's going to take a while. So there's that too. I'll come back to this afterwards and just see if it's actually recorded my voice the whole way. But our plane is kind of doing the right thing. It's going here. What should happen very soon is you should make this big bend to the right. So we get the big bend to the right, and we're all good. Here we go. We're doing it. Let's go do our external view. We've got Air France going on today. Another thing is you can push X and see the smoke comes out, and then you push X again, but you still got smoke down here. So if anyone knows what it is, I mean, people say just push X and it gets rid of the smoke, but that doesn't work, guys. So, and you can actually replace this file to get rid of this smoke, and I've done that, and look at that, I've still got smoke. So yeah, it would just be cool if we could just get rid of that, because it's such a beautiful view, and we've just got this nonsense going on up here. Like, why? Just why? Look at that, how cool is that? You can actually see the front or the back of the front. Either way, it's like, you know, a band of clouds. And out here there's no clouds, it's just clear, absolutely clear. Now I think my Ortho 4 XP scenery ends, and it starts again when we get closer to Amsterdam. But for now, we don't need it too much. Okay, so we'll jump back in here. How's our flight going today, guys? Everyone sitting back? I think we're out of Switzerland now, and we're in France. So we're flying just above France at the moment. There's France. Been going for at least 11 minutes, quite a bit longer. TKs is on standby. I'll just keep an eye on that fuel. Fuel's looking good though. 8140 kilograms, so pretty happy with that. Probably what's more important is 54 kilo a minute. I don't know if you can... It's just going down and down. Maybe it doesn't need so much now. Oh, look at that. We're coming up to 32,000 feet. So now we're coming towards some kind of cruising altitude. It's not costing us as much fuel as it was before. So when we're climbing, it was using a lot of fuel, but now we've stopped climbing. That fuel consumption's gone right down. So we're burning a lot of fuel to get up to 32,000 feet. I think this plane is supposed to cruise at 36. We could set it to 36, but I'm happy with 32. That's looking good enough for me. Gonna take a long time to get down anyway. So that's all good. One of the important things just to keep an eye on is where your top of descent is. So whenever it gets to your top of descent, you're supposed to start bringing it, you know, back down. You could bring it down earlier if you wanted to, but for the sake of following the flight plan, if you're not going down at the top of descent, then there might be a problem coming up. I'm not even going to touch this anymore. There's no discontinuities. It's all good. We're just sitting here seeing if it all works out. If we line up ready for a landing on Amsterdam, I think we've done pretty well. Beautiful, beautiful day. So yeah, flight time should be around about an hour and a half. You can put up these things. There's another thing you can click. I don't think it really serves much function, does it? What is that actually doing for me? Oh look, a shade. There's a little bit of shade on the... No, it doesn't even do that. I don't know, it's there. There's another one over here. You know, the only purpose of this is just something to click while you're at this point in the flight. That's it. I mean, you know, if you're at this point in the flight, guys, just click those two things. Sit back and relax. Maybe there's stars up there and you want to get rid of them. But why would you want to do that? Like, I don't know. Anyway, it's there. It's probably more useful in a car when you're driving. But in the plane with an autopilot like this, which is basically flying itself, probably not so needed. What does this say? Cell cal code FHB and K. If anyone has any idea what this means, that'd be great. You can leave me some comments. I'll read it and then I might learn something, which would be cool. But at the moment, we're going along beautifully. Let's go maybe back to this. We'll have a quick look at our flight plan. So we're maybe up to TORPA. I think as you go through different spots, it just deletes it off the flight plan because that's done. So it means TORPA's coming up, and then you've got ROUSY, then you've got BUB, then top of descent, then HELEN, then AHD, then limiter for the river, R2220. This is all the stuff getting ready for the lineup on the runway at Amsterdam now. So EHAM 04. So EHAM is Amsterdam and 04 is the runway number. So runway 4. I don't know why we have to do 04. It could just be EHAM 4, but in this case it's EHAM 4. I guess not a lot of airports have more than 99 runways, so 2 numbers is all that's needed. Set manage speed. Well, you know what? I'm happy with what it's doing with the speed. It's listening to me. It's holding 220 steady as. So if we're going about, so you've got 220 here, which should be in knots, and then if you look down here, this should be the like ground speed or like kilometers per hour, something like that. So the 0.617 should mean that we're going at about 620 kilometers an hour. If anyone could explain that better than me, please do so in the comments, but that's my understanding. So 220 is knots, and then 618 is the kilometers per hour on the ground, as a rough guide. At least We've got 92 nautical miles left to ROUSY. I don't know if we're following that flight path too well, but we seem to be heading in the right direction, so I won't complain. I don't know if the plane is suffering from a lot of wind. It's like pushing it over, because you can see it's a little bit unsettled. It's not like perfectly steady at the moment. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's because of that. Could be. We'll let this go up to 240. Might let our speed go maybe about 700. If we can get it around there. I think they normally do about 850. Something like that, maybe 800. But we'll let it go up to about 700, a little bit under. Yeah, I think we got some strong winds going on. I don't know if it's the direction of the wind, the 30-75. If anyone has any understanding of what that is, that would also be really cool. You know, there are so many questions, but for such a complicated plane, if we can get this plane into the sky, enter a flight plan, take off, and actually land it, I think we're doing pretty well. It's a good start. It's definitely what we need to be doing to get somewhere in this simulation. I don't know what the version of this plane is like in Prepare 3D version 4 point something, I'm sure, but yeah, apparently this one is better, if not the same as the one that they got over there. So, and what is really good about this is you can do your own scenery. So if you're just going to fly between these two airports, you're pretty much doing the same process as far as what buttons you click and everything. So, you know, X-Plane's doing pretty good. You've also got an awesome Cessna, I think Cessna 172. That's also really good in X-Plane. There's a lot of good planes in X-Plane. I mean, if you're having fun, it's good. That's the whole point. So nothing is sort of too much of a problem here. Seatbelts is on, no smoking. Fuel is not going so crazy now, so that's nice. We're about 20 minutes into the flight. We're probably a bit more, about 30 minutes, so we might be close to halfway. Close. These two are looking a bit too similar to me. Can we change this? Okay, so after ROUSY it goes left a little, and then it starts getting all complicated. Alrighty. There is a terrain button. It works, but we're not going to click that today. Just bouncing along, enjoying the view. I believe you can disconnect this, and you can also bring it up in your Google web browser. So if you look in the user manual, there's a link which does like localhost, and you just put in that link, and in the user manual down the very end page basically has that link, and it talks about it. And then you can bring up all this, and you can actually change it all in like Google or your web browser. So yeah, you can use your web browser along with the game, which is kind of cool. And you can have your external maps going and all sorts of things in your web browser. Yeah, it's it must be dealing with the wind, because it's sort of like that's the direction we're going, but we're trying to head that direction. So I don't know. Like this is flat, but despite that, it's going like that. So I don't know if this is magnetic north and that's real north, or what's going on there. But it's following the flight plan, so I ain't gonna argue with it if it's working. Let me fix it if it's working. You know what's really good at the moment is we're not getting any overspeed warnings or anything like that. We've got about 669 kilometers an hour. I could bump it up further, but let's make it 250. So what I need to know is there's like a cruising speed, but like, okay, if you're at 32,000 feet, what should this number be? If you know, please leave it in the comments. I'm keen to hear. But all I know is I'm doing 32,000. It says 250. And it's giving me something like 690, 692. Getting pretty close to that 700 figure now. So that's what we want. 694, 695, 696, 697, 698. Oh, just under. 698, 699. 699 is a good pump. Yep, 700 for a second there. So yeah, we're doing just under the 700. 250 knots, about 700k an hour. And then you could change it to Mach and get all complicated because you need to use those sorts of things once you're above a certain altitude in order to work out your airspeed. Just auto throttle, speed, altitude, cruise, nav, everything's green. Everything's green down here, everything's green up here. This plane is just buzzing. How nice is this plane? Like, everything looks cool. It all sort of works. It's you know, it's good. We've got no seatbelts, we've got no pilots. I don't know how to put any pilots, because even when you go to an external view, you do not have a view of any pilots in this plane. So they just haven't modeled that at all. Is that the right decision? Well, it'd be nice, but you know what? It really, the way it is, it's perfect. Like, they don't need to spend any time on that whatsoever. That is good. Pedals pull. I don't think that works, but I don't want to push it anyway. This will open. On with the other one. You can click right there to open, and you click sort of not here, but you click around about here on the pad, and maybe a little bit back from that. So yeah, not here, but just around about here, and it closes. The speaker there. Not that it makes much difference if you're wearing headphones or using speakers in your room, but I think they're speakers. The speaker there. Probably an air vent or something. And there's another. You can actually turn this. It might have an impact on like your cabin temperature in the plane. So you could look at your cabin temperatures. If you change this, it might alter it. I mean, if it does, that would be cool. But other than that, not too important. Maybe if there's a fault with the plane or some reason you could use it. Not too sure. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Probably the same on both sides. A3. A3, yeah. It is. And then that's your lights on the floor. You can make them light up if you needed. You could contact air traffic control and ask them for a landing and all this stuff. We won't be doing any of those fancy things. How are we going? I'm just flying along here. 43 nautical miles left. 42 nautical miles to ROUSY. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. A loudspeaker is loud. Console on the floor. So there is the light. You could probably change the time of day, but if we just hit it on dim, not doing much. Let's put it in the bright. I presume it does something. Maybe you have to hit that and then change that. This one changes like these dials, I think, and this one also changes these dials, like how bright they are. So I suppose if you had a lot of sun in the cockpit, you can make this brighter or softer or whatever. Like, yeah. I don't need to do too much. I can read it at the moment. It's doing its job. It's good. You've got all these modes along the top. You've got all these. I'm just using the arc. The both arc. And that one's what, 20? And that one's a bit more of an overview, 320. I think we can change the overview one to like 160 or something. That looks better. Cool. And I think you can flip these two around as well. So that one's there and that one's there with that button. I think it's that button. I don't want to change it. It's good, but that's what you can do. So it's going at 250. Not like I really need to make this flight shorter. 26 minutes. It's maybe about 30 minutes in. We're definitely heading in the right direction. We'll get to ROUSY. Now, if we looked at our flight plan, after ROUSY, we've got something called BUB. I don't know. Yeah, TORPA, ROUSY, BUB, and then top of descent. So, at ROUSY, we're at 30,000 feet, I reckons. About 250, and then 280 at what? Descending, and then at EHAM 244. Oh, hang on. 280, 250, 220, 157, 131. Alright. No problem. So we might do a bit of a manual landing because I've got the idea of ILS with the Boeings, but not too sure how it works with this plane. I think pretty much hit approach when you see the purple buttons. We tap the approach and the localizer, and then it starts following them in, and you can just adjust your speed and adjust your altitude. You want to be entering at something around 3,000, 6,000, somewhere between that figure, and it should start to find it and start beeping at you madly to tell you that you found something, and then you respond to it. But if we can get us lined up on the runway, at some point we'll turn all the autopilot off and we'll just manually land this plane. We just want to get on the ground safely. I think Amsterdam in real life can be quite a difficult airport to land at because sometimes it's very windy, and it'll be good fun just to try this plane out with a bit of a manual flying, especially for a plane that is usually flown with electronics. It'll just be cool to do a little bit of manual flying for the fun factor, just to see how this plane handles. We're doing all this without, you know, actually holding the controls and flying anything. We're just sort of babysitting the flight computer here at the moment, making sure everything's alright. I mean, someone's got to babysit it, you know. It's an important job, but it'd be nice to sort of feel like I'm flying something. You play something like ILS2 or DCS and you just sort of almost constantly flying it, you know, like you can put autopilot on, but a lot of the time you are really flying the plane. Whereas this, almost 99% of the time, we're just waiting for the flight computer to take us there. So it's a different experience. So having a small emergency here, I'm using a wireless mouse, and my wireless mouse is trying to tell me if it's getting a little bit low on battery. So I'm gonna just plug it in the cable so that we can not have an emergency. And there we go, our mouse is now connected with a cable, and we won't have any loss of mouse. This is something very important that all pilots should do at this point in the flight. Make sure that the mouse and keyboard is working. Very, very important. Okay, so we'll go and have a little look at our views we set up earlier. We've got some view over here at the wing. It's great. There's these new circlet things, and apparently they make more fuel efficiency. I can't imagine it does a lot, but it probably does something. There's all sorts of factors involved in saving fuel. I suppose they're looking at every single little one of them, because when they all put together, they start making a big difference. So we'll just go back into the cockpit, over the view. This will get better as we come towards Amsterdam, because we'll get ortho scenery again then. There's our wing. And get back to here. Back to here. Over here as well. We can see our plane from the external view. Just purring along. Awesome. So we're going in the right direction. We should have another turn very, very soon. Here we go. It's turning. Just check our external view again. There we go. Just ever so slightly. It's a slight turn. And really all this turning is about setting us up for landing. So we should have a little think about this top of descent stuff again. Now I believe this is an A320. This is the flight factor A320, and they can fly for about 5 hours with a full tank of fuel, and they can do about 6,000 kilometers. That's my understanding. But we've got ROUSY, and then I think ROUSY's gone. If we go over to this one, we're heading from ROUSY to Bub. And then HELEN, definitely we've got to be going down. So yeah, we could probably start preparing to come down soon. About 32,000 feet. And go how far? 96 nautical miles. So yeah, as we get closer to the Bub, we'll start bringing this thing down. It's gonna take a while, so let's see if we can just drop it to 31 and see what happens. You can modify this just by changing your throttle, and she'll slowly come down. We might have a little think about the numbers we want to put in here. 4,000 sounds good. It's pretty flat in Amsterdam, not expecting any massive hills in the way or anything like that. Especially over the land in front of us. We're still a long way up, so by the time we got down to that altitude, we should be okay. Gosh, it's clear. I mean, this is following real world weather. It's very clear out here at this point. So Yeah, I think there's a wind for sure, because that's like showing that way. And we're going this way, we've been pushed, so we're just turning a little bit into the wind to counteract this. I think that is what's going on here. Bub, we're at 99, now it's 83. 36 minutes into our flight time. We're over halfway. Or about halfway. I look at the length of the video and that would give me a pretty good idea of the flight time as well. But probably a good idea just to get that going once you're still on the ground. And then you can also get an idea while you're in flight exactly how far into the flight you are. The fuel definitely seemed to have enough. 7,300 left. We've used about 1,000. And going down, descending, I don't think we're going to use a lot of fuel, so that's all going pretty well. No overspeed warnings. 250. This is set now. This number here, I don't know if we can just set it to like 1,000. We'll put that in there. Um, 75. Looking a bit better. Still quite a way to go, so we don't really need to start descending yet. But I probably will start descending a little bit earlier than the flight plan is recommending. I'm not going for ultimate fuel burn or anything like that. I'm not paying for the fuel, so that's not a problem. A lot of these dials you can blow up, so like, you know, you can click this and then you can click that one, but this one, nope. You can look at it up here, you can look at it there, you can look at it over here, but or over here, but you know. Pretty cool. What is interesting here is we've got 32,000 feet, but we're also got a number up here, 9750. So it's 32,000 feet, about 9,750 meters. If you know the answer to that one, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really keen to know as well. But yeah, 319, and then we've got 9750. Dropped just a little bit, not sure why. Pretty similar, I don't think it's moving at the moment. 65, we're getting about halfway to Bub. Bub's on the way. Okay, so we can scroll through that. We've got ROUSY, we've got Bub, top descent. Then we're really getting into lining up for landing in Amsterdam. HELEN, HSD, River, descend, CF, EHAM, land now kind of thing. EHAM, interesting, it's got like 158 the speed, so we'll be down to about 220, then 158, then 131, so I guess our landing speed is somewhere between 160 and 130 at the last moment. That's what we're aiming for. I think you can get it down to about 160 and then just at the last moment drop off that final 30. Could be something we could do. Another thing we could do is we could bring out this speed brake just as we're descending. Not sure if that's necessary, but might just put it out to like, I don't know, 1 step. We should probably ask for landing clearance and all that sort of stuff. I have got world traffic, but I haven't turned it on for this flight. I just want to see this flight happen successfully with no problems. It's not like we can crash into another plane with world traffic or anything, but I don't need to process that. I just want this all to go through smoothly at the moment, and then we can explore a little bit further with world traffic, and we can add other things, and yeah, we can see if we can do some other cool things. But yeah, there's Xenviro, there's SkyMax. I don't have either, but if you have any comments on what's better, do let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested in purchasing one or the other. I don't want a massive complicated installation experience. If I can still link it to real weather, that'll be good. I have heard there's problems with both, with keeping the rain effects on the windscreen. This might be addressed in the future. I don't know if that's this plane's problem, or if they need to fix it from Xenviro's end, or if they need to fix it from X-Plane's end. But Xenviro is quite expensive. That doesn't worry me as long as it's, you know, good. SkyMax looks really cool. I think they're adding a lot of features to it, and it's just, yeah, looking great. I guess what I'd need to know is, why would I be going for Xenviro over SkyMax? Because SkyMax is cheaper. It seems to be doing the same thing, but maybe Xenviro is doing a little bit more than clouds. Xenviro is more like a weather simulator, and simulating different effects on the planes for rain and hail and snow and sleet and drizzle and all this sort of stuff. But if it's not working in this plane, then, well, I need to fix that. So how are we going? We've got 46 nautical miles. We're doing about 32,000 feet, and we're going about 250. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll keep making more of them, and they'll get better as I do more and more flights. It's probably easier when you're not talking. Yeah, I know more than what I'm actually saying, but I'm just trying to, you know, keep this flight simple. As I say, I just want to see this thing land successfully. If we can land, that'll be a great objective for us right now. So about 42, so maybe at 40 I'm gonna start bringing it down. I think we can get it down to 20,000 feet. That'll be a great first objective. Then we can talk about how much lower we need to go. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is throttle's locked on that spot. I'm just gonna start dropping the throttle back. So as we bring the throttle back, we got a beep. Master caution, auto throttle limited. We've limited the auto throttle. Not a lot of impact by that at the moment. So we're going to bring our auto throttle back just that little bit more. And at some point, she should drop in altitude. So we've just clicked that one, and we've brought the throttle back, and she's coming down slowly. But 0.8, 0.9, I don't have a limiter. I don't know if I can put that in now. We'll just make it 1,000. And sitting on 1,000. Don't want to go too crazy. We've still got 32 nautical miles before bub, so. But yep, it's dropping. It looks good. It looks like a good thing to be doing about now. Speed's still holding around about where we need it, 655. So we're coming down. Speed's only going down very gently. In fact, it's not coming down, so that's good. We're coming down, speed's holding steady. This looks like a good descent in terms of what we need it to do. We could bring it down a bit faster, but we can watch the numbers turn as it goes. It should stop at about 4,000. Yeah, holding at 644, 655. definitely not gaining too much speed. We're not going to have our overspeed warning as we come down. So that's very, very cool. And I don't know if we can make it more than one. Slowing the plane down at the moment probably isn't a bad thing either. It's only coming down very slowly. Rousy, then Bob. Beautiful. Brake pressure. No, I know that it's kind of more important in American Truck Simulator, I think. I don't know about this one. If you get this plane by default, V is the button on the keyboard for parking brake, but the button B doesn't really work. So you got to go into the keyboard settings, define your key, and then when you push B, there's two options. One is a soft brake and the other is a hard brake. So you can make it so you just push B for a soft brake, and then if you really want to make it hard brake, you can push shift to B and that would be a hard brake. And then if you really need to put the parking brake on, well, yep, you can push V. So they're the three braking options. When we're landing this plane, we'll probably initially just put it onto reverses. That's another thing you'll need to set. So hit your reverses, put on the maximum reverses. Once you start seeing the plane come down, then apply your brakes. So you've got both of them happening at once. We're going good, we're going good. Beat you beat. We've got 28,000 feet. What have we got, about 15? Don't know if we can get down to 20,000 feet before 15, but we seem to be on target to get pretty close to that. We could bring it down quicker. I don't know if there's a way. Let's say I make it 15. Now what happens? Does this change? No. Our speed's about 600. That's coming down a little bit. $11. Still plenty of fuel. Like if we took off now, we could in theory land it with similar fuel. We get pretty close. So yeah, we've got about half our fuel needed to do this trip now. Or we could turn around and go all the way back. Almost. Yeah, interesting fuel flow. As we're descending, it's quite a low figure, 20. Temperature, that temperature should go up as we come down. This is the outside temperature. There's the TAT and the SAT. TAT is like or one of them is their estimated temperature and the other one's like the more likely the real temperature. So yeah, one of them is the real temperature. If you know which one is the real temperature, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, one is like estimated and the other one is more like the real temperature, what it would actually be. It's very difficult to get the temperature because the plane is moving fast through the air, so it's just an estimate, but one is a better estimate than the other one. That's my understanding. Okay, so we're coming up to Bub. We've got 3.3. Speed's coming down. We might be able to bring this throttle down just slightly, or what else could I do? What would happen if I clicked this? So we're going to make it 2, and then we click that. What happens? Okay, it's coming down. It's coming down. Holy shit. Oh, it's turning. And it's coming down. So this should get to 2, and then this should keep on the flight path. We'll just check that. Autopilot's on, autothrottle's on. This autopilot is just amazing. It really is. It just listens to what I tell it to do. Very, very cool. So speed, it's getting pretty close to 250. That's cool. No problem there. It's about 600. We might be able to bring that down to, I don't know, 220. That's holding 2. Have a little look over here. We can see that the plane's going to go forwards, then turn right, and then it's almost, I think, yeah, it's lined up for landing, like all through there. So we can get our speed down and everything else right for that stretch. That'll be great. And we're doing everything we need to make that happen at the moment. Speed's holding steady. One thing I said I was going to do was the air brakes. Let's do that. I was going to do 1 step. Let's do 2 steps. See if it makes any impact on our speed. So it's coming down a little bit. So that's cool. We're trying to get down to that 220. We're coming down a lot quicker at the moment. So 24 to Helen. 24 to Helen. On the flight plan, where did I have the recommended descent? Bub. Yeah, we've passed it, so I think we're doing everything we need to be doing right now. And if we look over here, we're coming up to Helen. Okay. Cool, very cool. With 20 nautical miles and at this speed of dropping, to get down to about 4,000, it's looking good. Speed's not going crazy, speed's just coming down gently. That's looking good too. And we only, well, if we go on the idea of getting the speed down to about 160, then yeah, 220 down to about 160, that's not too hard. $19,000. Ortho 4 XP should come up soon. It looks pretty good with the Europe overlay, like you can see you know, a bit of a town, and if we put it on at night, it would be so cool to do this landing at night time to see all the lights, because X-Plane just looks stunning at night. But we'll just do this landing in the day because I want to be sure we're going to get this thing on the ground. Okay, so we've got 14. We've still got this thing screaming down at the moment. Not sure if it's quick enough, but it's screaming down. I think we're only going to get to about 14,000. Like, that's what it's looking like to me. In 13, we might get to 14. Not quite where I want to be, but it's doing a lot of things right. It's holding that 220. Look at that. You know what? I might be able to make this just that touch more. So let's make this 3. Let's see if that changes. 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2. Had a small problem with the recording there. Just a small problem with the recording, but we're back. So we've restarted the recording, and not something the noise pilots need to worry about. OBS, Open Broadcasting Software, at the middle of the landing, but you know, this is what we do as flight simmers. So we've got that happening. We've got our air brakes on. Don't know if my air brakes are broken at the moment. We're coming down so quickly. 12,000 feet. Here we go. And I said we'd be about 14,000 at Helen. We're doing about 10 now. Way more in line with where I was wanting to be. So it does this one turn, and then it comes up to there, and then it's just pretty much straight on. So this thing can get itself down to the 4,000. Look at that, 3210 meters, 10,000 feet. Yeah, I think that is a conversion into meters altitude. Okay, cool. So it's lined up. We're lined up with the runway. Not yet, but you know, when we make that next turn. Interesting, but I can't see it on this one. I must just click that once more. Yeah, now we can see it. It's a bit more useful to me. Okay, so 9,000. Do I need to go any quicker? I mean, gosh. Can you imagine having to descend later than this? Like, because we're descending pretty hard, and I'd hate to have to descend later than what I just did. Look at that expanse of water. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I would love to do this landing at night to see what it looks like, but can't see any runways out there yet. The good thing about night is you can really clearly see the runway where you're trying to land, but we're just gonna have to look for it out there somewhere. Okay, so we've got 7,000 now. I don't know if we need to go quicker than we are, but we're doing something. You know what I might do? I'm gonna drop this number to 3. Because the plane's gonna like stabilize at 3, and we're gonna bring this number down as well. We might be able to make it 170. That should turn off at 2,000. It's looking pretty flat out there, so 2,000 should be okay. And then there's the 170. This plane is shaking all over the place. But how cool is that? That is so, so cool. Like the old Microsoft Flight Simulator, it just feels like it's not moving. But this thing, it's just got the turbulence and yeah, very, very cool. Okay, somewhere out here we should have X-Enviro. I think it's starting to look like X-Enviro to me. Like all of that is. So that's cool. We've got our X-Enviro scenery as we're coming up to our landing. I don't see any airport out there. I think it's that way somewhere. Out there. Okay, so we've got the 3,000. I don't know if it's going to tell me to pull up. You know what? I might make it. Do something. Oh my god. 5,000, and then we got to 1,200, but it's pulling up. It's pulling up. It's got to 1,000. Very cool. Now we can reset this back to 2, and then just reset this to like a gentle pull up. And then we just need to think about our speed. So we're going just casually across the top of the ground here. Speed is coming down. 170, we might be able to make a 180. It looks better. Just above this crazy zone. The altitude thing is you can only do it in steps of 1,000, so yeah, we've still got a little way to go. 2,000 at 180, looking good to me. 182. A small step up. When we get around this, we might be able to make it 1000. What's the caution about? The speed brake still out. Auto throttle limited. We all, yep, I know that. Sure do know that. As long as it's holding what we need it to do. I don't have too many concerns. Computer's helping me. That's a good thing. Look at the beautiful scenery. How cool is this? Okay, so I can't see a thing in this weather. Guys, where is the airport? Okay. It's out there somewhere, eh? It'll find it. We have trust. So when we do this turn, this is the last turn. And then, all we're worried about is all this information. There's a pink happening there. I don't know if that's the glide scope stuff. Maybe. You just hit approach and hope it starts gathering that data. I could put this to there. Engine doesn't sound like it's complaining so much now. We're just doing about 2,000 meters off the ground. Altitude. There we go. Jump back in our plane. It should do this final turn now. Maybe there's a final turn at R22, but it's pretty much lining up. Heaps of fuel. Let's see, F157131, and we're already doing just above 180, so it's not going to be a lot of work to drop that too much further. 182. Okay, beautiful. Coming up to river, and then yeah, it looks like it just does this final little kick to the right just at Amsterdam. That's what it looks like. So what we might do is we'll let it go down to the 1000. And then we just click down. And what happens? Look at that, it's going down. Yep, it's listening. Very gently. Yeah, doing exactly what we want. And we could make it go quicker if we need. I don't know if we need. I think we need. Okay, so we'll do 500. So it's got that final little turn towards the Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, SCHIPHOL. And it's just when it does, after it does this turn, we'll turn the autopilot off and we'll do the manual landing. Because I'll let it do that final turn, hopefully, even just to see that it's getting us on track with it. We can see how this whole flight plan turned out. It's coming down to 1,000. So that's going all good. I don't really have an option to go in a smaller step than that. Maybe there's a way to do it by clicking this or that, but yeah, it seems to be, there's metric, but that's not much use to me. And that should be the Ortho 4XP. Looking good. Where is this runway? Do you see anything out there? I don't see anything. Good time to look at the wing. There we go. The view. There we go. Beautiful. Not very far now.
1,000.
Okay, it's at 1,000. It's holding the 1,000 steady. We're looking at this direction here for an airport.
1,000.
If this flight plan worked, we should eventually have an airport.
1,000.
So some things we could do. We could put our flaps out. We could put the air brake on slightly more. We might just do one flaps and then one more step of the speed brake, because our speed is like what we're wanting. So yeah, when we hit that, we'll just do one flaps, one more of the speed brake, and then we're just looking for this place to put this plane down. We want to line it up to very cool buildings over there.
1,000.
So if we had night, you can sort of see where the runway is, but the weather like this. How good is this? 1,000. It's just holding 1,000, holding the speed.
1,000.
You can see the Ortho 4 XP scenery here, and there's the normal, and then there's the Ortho 4, and look how nice that is. This is what every pilot should do. Look at that Ortho 4 XP scenery just before landing, because there's nothing else more important than looking at that Ortho 4 XP scenery. That is just awesome. Look at that, you can see all, oh my gosh, how cool is that? Okay, back to the landing. So, still coming up to that final little turn.
1,000.
I don't know if planes do this in real life, but that's what this flight plan's telling me to do, so.
1,000.
Wind's almost coming head on. Not sure if that had something to do with it. I'll keep looking out there for an airport. It's going to be a handy little view, that one. Okay, this is where we are going to get ready for manual control. It's going to do its last little turn. And then we're going to hit our flaps. And we're going to put our speed brakes on. And start to do everything we can to get ready to land. We'll let the flaps come out one. This last turn is everything the autopilot could help me with, really. It's then got me lined up, hopefully. It's up to me to put it on the ground. Okay, here we go. We got the turn.
1,000.
We should have a airport in front of us now. Heaps of fuel, 6310. Speed brakes on just a touch more. Airspeed. Is coming down. You know what I think? And we're gonna go slightly left. $900 meters with 140 and manual control going on at the moment. Gosh, this is tense. I do not have a visual on an airport in front of me. And after coming such a long way, what is this plane doing? What do we have there? That looks like a runway, guys. We have a runway. Okay, we now have something we can aim at. I can work with this. So, flaps. What's our altitude? I need to stop looking at that because I need to see that info. Okay, cool. Let's see how we go. We can watch the replay after. We can also look at the scenery after. Okay, so there's our runway. Amsterdam Schnipnol. We're at 700 meters. We're coming down. We're coming down. We're coming down.
Too high.
We're coming down.
Approaching 06. Too high. Too
Flaps
high.
are now full.
Too low. Gear. 500.
Gears out.
Unstable. Unstable.
400.
Think rate. Think rate.
300.
We've got a long runway, so
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
we'll start flaring.
Pull up.
150. 40.
We'll level her up.
Long landing. Long landing. 8,000 feet remaining.
50. 40.
And then
30.
speed is about 150, so that's looking all good. Let's hit the ground. Back wheels down, front wheel down. Put the reversers on,
5,000 remaining.
and we'll apply the brakes. Just 60. We might be able to turn off here. Take the brakes off. Put on the forward thrusters. Welcome to Amsterdam. I think this airport has auto gate going on. I'm not sure. If we can find somewhere that's gonna be able to help us with that, we'll use it. Let's avoid that plane. Very big plane there. We might park around there somewhere. We can use this one here. Yep, that's looking good. Of course, a real pilot would use external view when they're parking, because that's what you do. Never look at it from the inside of a plane, always look at it from the outside. Looks a lot prettier from the outside. Although the interior of this plane, oh my gosh, it's so cool. But so is the exterior. Okay, so we've got all sorts of lights on. Interesting that these lights came on. I don't know if that's because that happens automatically, or because it was just on the whole time, or what, but let's bring it maybe up to those lines on the ground. If you had a little camera, you could see what was going on, but I don't have that little camera. So we're going to use the external view. Just have a quick look at our plane in relation to this. That's about right for our door on this plane. Looking good. Put on our parking brake, jump back into the inside. Put the throttle back to nothing, and just check our flight plan and what's left in the flight plan. Just PPOS, flight plan discontinuity, end of plan, no alternative. How cool is that? That was the flight plan all the way. Very, very cool. Okay, so we'll shut off the motors. And this whole plane should basically go to sleep. We can turn those two things down. Turn off engine 1. And then turn off engine 2. Very, very cool. I wonder if this opens. Even without the power, it still opens. That's cool. And you know what? We can click that switch. And we can open the window. Awesome. We landed. All the scenery works. And yeah, very, very cool. Let's see if we can have a little look at landing. If we go and scroll back to, I don't know. That looks good to me. Now, for some reason, you don't have sound. We open those gears up so late. But, you know, it's such a long runway. We had lots of time. So, Here's our gears. They're out. There is the piano keys. And we're landing just past that. Just letting it float a little bit. Letting it float. Let's have a look at how this came down finally. Back wheel's down. And then the front wheel down. Very cool. And then we sort of start to do a bit of drifting on the runway. So without doubt we can improve. But the important thing is we have fun, and this was just so much fun. Such a cool plane. You can see the air brakes, you can see the flaps happening. Have another little look, but without moving the camera all over the place. Just have a look at our scenery. Look at that scenery. That is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. And you know, it's not the main thing you're looking at when you're trying to land the plane, but it really is cool. We might lock the view to something like that. And we'll watch it go all the way in. Let's control 5. Let's say internal view. I'm going to wing view. I'll take that. Wing view. I've got that view. Yeah, it'd be cool if we had sound on the replays, but apparently it's not something they're even looking into fixing, so for the moment we can just enjoy the scenery. Not too worried. How cool is that? The building actually matches, you know, like the layout of what's on the ground. That is working so well. Look at that little building, road. It's just working, you know, like all that ortho scenery. So there's one of the final turns. The only thing is you've got like bits where it's got cloud on the ground, and obviously that's a satellite photo. It wouldn't be cloud on the ground, but you know, overall, so good. Maybe there's a bit of fog down there, you know, I don't know. But you know, if you want to watch a video of someone who's not a pro pilot but is learning, is able to get the plane up in the sky and get it on the ground and then land it without blowing the tires or something like that, well, you know, this is cool. And I got so much out of watching other people's videos, whether they're a good landing or a bad landing. You can learn so much. So I really put a big shout out to everyone else who's uploading their videos on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the guides. Thank you for all the information. It hasn't given me all the answers, but it's, you know, encouraged me to keep looking for the answers. So if I don't get the answer from your video, that's not necessarily a problem. As long as we can keep learning and keep advancing, I think that's a good thing. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is just, oh, again, look at this all the way through there. That's just stunning. Absolutely stunning the whole way in with this. So there you go. Here we are. And that's the view. The fire. Yeah, we're going to just spot between these two now. So incredibly cool. Reverses on. And then we slowly bring her up to come off one of these departures. And if we have a look, we've still got a little bit of runway left there. So we're already turning off. We didn't make the last turning or anything like that. Pretty cool. Turn it around, turn it around. Come down to here. If you like these sort of videos, give it a like and a subscribe. If you don't like these videos, then let me know. But we can only get better. And we appreciate any feedback we get at all, because that's always useful. Look at that, Sleep No Airport. The important thing is we have fun. Bringing our plane around. Expand 52 meters. I don't know how wide this is. Another thing to look up. So we come around to here, C11. I guess is the parking spot we used. And if you came to this airport, you could probably sort of learn where to go. Or you could ask air traffic control, where do you want me to go? And then park there. I don't know if this has autogate somewhere. Maybe it does. I didn't have to reverse at all. It was just straight in. Just being cautious, and that's all. That's very cool. Not sure if they're autogate ones. How can they got the equipment out? That's very cool. One's got the lights on and stuff. Yeah, very cool. I mean, you could keep bringing it forward, but if it is an autogate, when you turn the motors off, I believe that's when the autogate would move, but I don't think this one moves. Does that say C11 on it? Yeah, C11. Yep. And that's C9 over there. Okay. Very, very cool. Thank you for watching.